What's good, YouTube? We're back today with another market watch. A few things are going up and down and a bit crazy, and there's some theory with the market I wanted to talk about in just a second concerning the OP pack. But first, I wanted to do a special market watch for you guys today. I wanted to do the top 5 cards I would personally go and get now while they're cheap, and the market has beat me to the punch. I was thinking last night about the Lightsworn combos using the new Lightsworn Link in the OCG, and you know how Crystron Needle Fiber interacts, and how a lot of them use Dandylion, because Dandylion's one card that once it's sent to the graveyard brings back 2 tokens. Then once Firewall gets it back to your hand and summons it again, and you link summon with again, it's 2 more. Each time it comes back to the field that way, it's going to act as 3 bodies for link summoning. It's Earth tokens, so it works with misses. Radiant, it's just got so much synergy with link summoning that it's insane looking down the barrel of the future. Now, the Dual Saga Ultra is still very cheap here at 25 cents or so. You see that its market price is 33 cents, so it's actually kind of cheaper than its market price. Not a lot of people like the Dual Saga, and I don't think this is a card that's going to be like Mizuki, where every version is worth money per se. Like this common from the structure deck, the Monarch structure deck, tons of people ripped open, probably not. But the ultimate rare is what we're really looking at here, and it's at 26 some odd dollars, lowest on TCG Player right now, versus its market price of 17. That's a pretty high jump, and if you remember, I showed these a long time ago at $10. I just love the inverse eyes of the ultimate rare, by the way. You notice the eyes are white on everything else, but the eyes just get inversed for the ultimate rare. That is so freaking cool. But if we go over to eBay, the lowest is about 22-ish, 21.50, before it's 22, 23, it quickly 25. There's only 9 total listings on all of eBay, and one of them's obviously Light Play right there. So it's going kind of crazy. The secret rare, actually, I think I have it pulled up here. Yep, is kind of considered the next nicest version by a lot of duelists, because Legendary Collection secret rares are usually held in a high regard, such as Formula Synchron, which is its highest rarity, and we see it $3 before, you know, kind of somewhat going up. It's chilling a whole 33% above its market price. Also, that's a big percentage for $1, but it's just headed that way across the board. Something I really like is the jump version here, which the lowest is at $2.30. Such a nice ultra rare. If you want a version, I do highly consider this if you like the aesthetically pleasing. But of course, no pressure on these nice versions. There's always the Dual Saga Ultra, the common, etc. There's so many versions of this card. That's why I think it's impossible for it to become Mizuki-ish unless everybody really starts playing it. But a version to really look at if you're collecting, especially, and you want to get yours now, anytime a card like this becomes popular, its Duelist League spikes out the roof and it becomes really hard to obtain. Look at the baby Cerasauruses from Dinosaur format. So if you've been putting this on the back burner, a lot of these versions are still under $4, which is way above their market prices, but really cool colored rare Duelist League versions. You can even get some of them super cheap, like Pro Play Games. I'm sure you could find another card you could buy from Pro Play Games to make your cart $2, because you have to have a minimum of $2, and get this nice red Duelist League version. There's just so many of them, but this is my best selling, so people are ignoring the Duelist League versions right now, and realistically, Dual Saga is starting to fly off the shelves because it's the best selling version of this card. But the ulti, the highest rarity, and the secret being the, you know, right here, up here in the top 5 versions, along with the ultra, that's saying something, because these are the pricier versions of the cards, and you usually see cheap cards take the best selling slot of any card. Now, we head over to Circuit Break, and Borolo Dragon is creeping on up. I think its market price will cool down eventually. It's an amazing card, but I think it's something you usually only play one of, because it's kind of got that boss monster effect. It's not furthering you in your fields, despite your 2 downward arrows and your 2 side to side. So yes, it can enable your field in some senses, but I really feel that this card is more of a one-of in your decks. And over here on eBay, it is matching at 27. Now, a lot of people are using this for Spiral, because when you get cherries, you're either losing your firewalls or your double helix, and maybe you're going to get both hit. This kind of becomes your win con for a lot of Spiral duels. But not just that, it's an anime card that is very, very good and will be played in other decks. It's not like Topological Bomber Dragon per se, where it's not going to see as much play. This effect is just much better overall, in my opinion. Now, another one of that's very similar, the Ignister of the Link world, I just want to show you. Once a special edition comes out for a set, Ningirsu is kind of just chilling at $9, and that's kind of creeping back up. He was hovering the $8 to $7.50 range, and we see him at 10 on eBay, so actually cheaper over here on TCG Player. So that might be a sign for you guys that yes, this card is, you know, moving on up. It's finding its way up in the market. But these one-ofs, you know, get a huge wave when there's a special edition or a reprint of a pack, and they really have their price affected. That's why Tornado Dragon, for being an amazing secret rare, it's typically a one-of, and that's why, you know, holds a lower price. So I can't see a one-of holding such an amazing price. I would say this is more so from the set being newer. Give it time to calm down. Remember, Ningirsu started at 15 and it went down. But I'm sure there's other reasons that duelists are going for this, especially it being such a, you know, iconic anime monster. Like, that definitely is helping hold it up there, because tons of other duelists are going to want it for that reason more so than its competitive play. And let's face it, the competitive market may be driven a lot by competitive play, but the casuals ultimately can rule it, as seen by cards like Zark and other points in time. And just another note from Circuit Break, it looks like Akshik is kind of moving back up a little as well. It had bottomed out a little lower than this, but now it seems to be, you know, rebounding just a bit, probably supply and demand overall. And speaking of Ningirsu, or however you say that, I call it Greece, but that's obviously wrong because the R is after. All the World Chalices are kind of cheap right now, so if you've been wanting or itching to play that deck, I'm not saying that it's going to go up in price at all at any point in time. It's just kind of the original Link deck. If you enjoy the idea of the deck or want it on the side, it's kind of bottoming out, and I don't know that this will be a Megaton, since it seems like the Megaton, you know, sets are so much smaller on the halls. I don't know that this will make the Megaton cut, so maybe it's something to start considering trading for on the cheap. Like, I'm sure with it being this cheap, people who really want a certain card, like, you know, a higher card like your Borreload right here, I think they would be willing to, you know, trade stuff like this towards it if you just want the deck on the side to play casually and enjoy it. Like, I'm not saying it's any kind of great deck, but these are pretty good prices for them, and I don't see them going down too much. It's almost impossible for them to go down too much lower than that. Oh man. Brilliant Fusion is actually continually going down. Its ultimate rare will not affect the price of the engine, but the engine's just not seeing play in the meta. And thanks for that follow on Twitch. But with it not seeing play, you know, overall in the meta, I just see it continuously going down. It's a great engine. It's unlikely to get hit because it's not pushing itself in the meta, but the OTS pack curse with Tour Guide and our Speedroid Terror Top, will it happen? Who knows? But it's even lower here on eBay at $775 before it's $850. So I talked earlier about that OTS pack Therio. Why would they just put Brilliant Fusion in without another piece? Somebody brought that up to me, and it does seem that Seraphinite and Garnet might be highly likely candidates to be in our OTS packs. Konami actually does pay attention to the metas past, and sometimes they're a little slow with these OTS packs, so we realistically could see, even though it's not seeing meta play, a reprint of Seraphinite, I would think, and it's very high here at $15. So if you aren't using yours, I might consider trading it now, because that theory does hold you know, some prevalence that, you know, this is ultimate rare. Why wouldn't there be some kind of other print? And it's already super, so it's likely to be downgraded rather than ultied out. But your DT should be just fine. That's highest rarity. If anything, it might engine down, because every time, you know, the supers go down, this goes down, but it usually stays a good $5 ahead. So either way, if you're not using the engine, I might consider getting rid of this, but you probably have the DTs and hollow out everything. You're probably going for the ultimate rares anyways and don't care about getting rid of that. Similarly, it seems to be hanging out here at you know, this is a German one, so Italian, wow, all the cheapest ones are foreigns. $15, $15, and a Portuguese, another foreign one, geez, before 16. So it does seem pretty hard to get Seraph Knight right now. I really do like the fact that it could be a candidate, but that's just educated guessing. I wouldn't make a move specifically on that, but also these prices are very high, so naturally I would be selling mine at this point. And we go over to Garnet. The DTs are actually relatively low compared to Seraph Knight, as are the supers. We come over to eBay, and we see the super is as low as $7. Which is almost half the price of your nice Seraph Knight there. I guess you can use other Gem Knights and not always have to use it. And the DT is low as 9. I wouldn't be rushing to get rid of the holo version, and I almost wouldn't be rushing to get rid of this, but if it is common in that pack, this price will completely tank. The only reason it's high is it doesn't have a reprint. That's literally it. That's the only reason. It's the best Gem Knight to play. That's realistically why it's up there. So these prices are pretty high for not seeing play in a meta. It's an amazing engine, but I personally would be trading them at these prices. Aromage Jasmine is the last card I want to talk about. We have a new seller here, newly launched even, so welcome to TCG player. But selling his Jasmine at around the 11 point before it's 16 and 18. Speaking of extra normals, that's what Jasmine does for plant type decks. When your life points are higher, you get an additional normal summon of, I believe, a specifically plant monster. And we come over here on eBay and it's similarly up. I don't know if this is just a link hype or what, but additional normals are always strong, especially with having to not play other bricks, but you're still committing this to the board. So I like the Predaplant engine more personally, but this never got a reprint in any kind of mega pack, and if something somehow happened to the Predaplant engine, I could see this card seeing some kind of play, but I just don't like it nearly as much. The rest of the Aromage is completely cheap, not much to note there, but definitely Jasmine, that's some pretty crazy stuff going on with her. So thanks for watching. What did you guys think of today's Market Watch? I'll probably still make that suggested video, maybe with Duel Saga, but I know a lot of you guys have said over and over you don't like Duel Saga Ultra Rare. You feel it's kind of akin to Gold Rare in your taste. So I really don't know what to do with my suggestion video, because that was my #1 and it kind of swept it out from under my feet. You guys were ahead of me. You guys that were grabbing these after seeing the insane Lightsworn Link monster and the plants, the Aromage Link monster, all you guys were way ahead of me. So thanks for watching again, and hopefully you enjoyed today's Market Watch, guys.